Hey creative friends, welcome to my channel. I want to show you something I think is really important because I did my Canuary recipes and one of these did not seal, but the lid is stuck on. And what I want to show you is how to test it for the sound that you need to listen for to make sure your tops are sealed properly, like it's not a false seal. I'm going to show you what that sounds like because I think it's really important. So come down here. Okay, the whole reason I started my YouTube channel 12 years ago actually is because I saw things on YouTube that were so dangerous, and they just freaked me out. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to start a YouTube channel that shows approved, researched recipes and safety and how to properly do things. So the reason I want to show you this is because I just want to talk about how when these come out of the canner, this is one of my Canuary recipes, and I'm not sure if my video for this is going to be up before this, so I'm not going to tell you what it is. But anyway, so I made this, and I processed it. I did everything the same, you know, that you're supposed to do. But here's the weird thing. If you're a new canner, you may notice, when you take things out of the canner, the ring may be loose. That's okay. Leave it alone. Don't touch your rings. Just take them straight out, set them straight down, and let them cool. During the cooling process, the air would have been forced out of your headspace. I'm going to show you. So you have your headspace, right? The air would have been forced out, and as it cools, it's going to create a vacuum that sucks the lid down. That's how it works. If you've ever left, like say a water bottle in your car that you've opened and drank, and then your car's in air conditioning and stuff, and then you set it, maybe you go in the mall and you come back and your car's really hot and it's almost like it's sealed again when it cools back down, because it has gotten so hot it's expanded, and then when it cools off it all contracts and it pulls the lid down. That's basically what's happening here. So it's really important. That's one of the real important reasons of why you want to pay attention to your headspace. Part two is if you have got something, like if you tilted it when you took it out of the canner. Some people say to turn them upside down. That is not a practice that you should do. That's never been, that's just a thing. It's never have been something you're really supposed to do. But, and I know I'm going to get backlash because people do it, but I'm just telling you what is approved and researched, okay? So, anyway, I also saw a video one time where someone said, just check it. If you can't take the top off, if the flat is stuck on there, then it's properly sealed. That is also not the case. So I will show you how to tell. But another thing I want to tell you is don't mess with the rings. And when they come out, I've heard people say push the button down and that forces the air out and it'll seal. No, no. That button is there to show that when it properly pops down, the button will go concave instead of, it'll go down, it'll dip down instead of popping up, because that, where you hear the pop, bing, that's when that button pops in, okay? So, here's 2 jars of my Canuary, one of my Canuary things. And they're completely cooled. This one I actually put in the refrigerator because when I tested it, I discovered this one is not a proper seal, even though I would have to use a jar thing to get the lid off of this, okay? So, what you do is after they're completely cool and you're ready to wash them and put them away, you tap the top. Now, I don't like to leave it on the counter because the sound will reverberate and sometimes it's a little bit more difficult. I'm going to show you. So here is what, this one is properly sealed, okay? And I can tell that even though they look the same, and the lid, I can't get off unless I use a lid remover. So listen to this. Hear that kind of high-pitched ting? Hear this? Here it's a thunk, okay? I want you to hear it off of there. Hear how that is? Okay, I want you to hear this one. You hear that? This, even though it is sealed, has a false seal. So when you hear people say, as long as you can't get the lid off, it's sealed, well, it's sealed, but it's not sealed for safety reasons. So hear that? Okay, that's really important. So once all of your jars, and this is another thing I do, once or twice a year, I actually will go in my pantry and I will test, I will just go along, I'll have a whole bunch of jars sitting there and I'll just tap them all on the shelf, and as soon as I hear go, you know, like, I know I've got to get rid of that jar because it's a thump. And that's one of the ways I purge food that maybe didn't seal, or the seal has given up a little or something. That's how I do it. And I don't store with rings on, because people store them with the rings on. And then I will when I'm transporting it or sending it as a gift or something. But one of the reasons you don't want to store it with the rings on is because if that seal does pop, especially if you have a pantry where the temperature fluctuates, if the seal pops and then it cools down and this is holding it down, it will resuck down. But it should sound like this, okay, even if it does that. That's one thing. And also, you don't want to store, whether you've got the rings on or not, you want to put something in between. You see how that ring is above the flat part of that lid? See how that pops up? That's giving a little bit of space. So if you put a piece of cardboard or something between them, and this applies in the canner too, it will be able to set. You see how that sets, and the bottom of that jar is not on the top of this one, so you would have something dividing them. If you set this jar on top of that one, even if you don't have a ring on, it's going to hold that lid down. So if you have a temperature heat up and cool down, it will suck the lid back down, and you may not know it if you pick it up and just check for that it's adhered to the jar. So that's what you do. Keep them like that. Put something between them, because that little lip, that little bump, is going to hold your other jar up. And that's how you're going to keep your food safe, current, and ready to eat, and delicious. So here you go, one more time. Good seal. Bad seal. Okay, so this, what happened to it? It's set out, that's fine. I'm going to put it in the fridge, and I'm going to use it for chicken wing because this is so good. But I do want to tell you, if you discover one is like this, the reason they say you can reprocess things within 24 hours, and the first thing I get asked is, why 24 hours? In 24 hours, haven't bad things happened in there? No. This has been processed. If it's been processed enough, all the things that would start the bad things happening have to start growing. So you have that additional time for the things to get in there that then would go bad. So that's why you have the 24 hours. So if you have that, I could have reprocessed this, but I'm just going to pop this, just one jar out of 5. I'm just going to pop this in the fridge, and I'm going to use it within a week. So there you have it. I hope this helps you, because that's the sound. That's the question I get, is how can I tell? And that's how you can tell. So I hope that helps. And if you have any other questions, let me know. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.